I'd like you to. We talked a lot about session players are typically males. What it felt like being in general the only woman
Being a
on the
woman.
scene aside from the backup singers, the occasional string
Well,
player.
I get a lot of emails from people who think that I really started something. I probably did in the studio work, but back in the 40s and 50s, there were a million women out there playing with jazz with the men. So the men back then knew that the women could play. They just weren't visible. It was more important to be married than it was to have a career, So if they got married, then they stopped playing. But so I knew I was one of several, and I still like the men who played the bebop the best. I thought. So anyway, so I came in the studio work. I mean, with kind of an attitude like, oh God, I got to play this stuff. Oh geez, and it probably got me across because I had so much, self confidence in my playing and like that. And I had played in the black jazz clubs for crying out loud. Being the only white in the club sometimes. So it wasn't like I come like, oh gee, I hope that they'll accept me. No, in fact, I'm the opposite. I could outswear the guys if they wanted to swear. I'd say, oh, screw you too, that kind of thing. So I'd feed it back if somebody ever said something, but they didn't. The minute you start playing, they know that you're an accomplished musician, and the professionalism spoke for itself. But we were all in it together, and as far as the guys go, I was one of the guys. I never thought of myself as a woman. I was a guitar player, and then I was a bass player, and I knew by the time I got on bass that they had to have me. That's a powerful feeling for you, whether you're a man or a woman, to know that it's your bass lines that they're hiring so that the record companies can get hits and make a lot of money, and then you're charging through the nose for it too, because you want to make a good living for your kids, and that's what it was all about for all of us. So we were all in the same pot together. Yes, I'm the first woman to do all the studio work I did. It's damn lucky that I was a guitar player at the time that they needed the rock and roll. So had I been a clarinet player or even a drummer, no, I couldn't have gotten in the studios then because there was a prejudice against women, yes.